but if you haven't, you won't forget seeing him this evening. He's on tour with Mr. Chris Bodie right now. Yeah. Sure about that? Mr. Lee Pearson.
Good evening, everybody. Very excited to be here. This is my first drum festival, so I'm like really honored and thankful that Mapex saw fit to bring little old me to the stage, Mr. Jerry and the Mapex family. Thanks for Evans, Mr. Marco, my Sabian Cymbal Company, Mr. Chris, and yeah, Pro Mark, who's Marco again. I just want to thank everybody for having me. I want to thank my heroes of the drums, Mr. Johnny and Mr. Neer, for allowing me to share the stage with them. So I hope I don't bore you. I'm going to play the drums. I was talking to my mom and I was like, man, this is my first festival. What do I do? And so I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm a piano player. I play organ in church. I'm going to church in the morning, playing organ for my dad. But I want to talk about dissonance and consonant of not just harmony, but drums. So I've been able to play from Sting to John Mayer, to Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, Roy Ayers, to Hank Jones, Kenny Barron, still playing with him, and Dr. Lonnie. So I play from jazz to reggae to funk to gospel, and playing with those kind of musicians, I've learned the history and the vocabulary of music of people like Mr. Johnny and stuff, of legends being at a young age, and how to respect the music. I heard Master Greg Bissonette talk about gospel chops. I'm not going to gospel chop you. That's not me. But what I am going to do is I'm going to musical chop you. And I wrote this song just for this festival. It got meters of 11, 9, 7, and 6, and 4. But the idea was to write this song and make it all sound and feel like 4. So you'd be able to tap through it. I went to Ghana when I was 17 with Carlos Garnett, a tenor player who used to play with John Coltrane. And I studied with an African djembe orchestra there for 4.5 weeks. And these guys were going around playing in 7 and dancing. And I was like, wow. And you know, a lot of drummers, when we play in 7, we have the tendency to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so this drummer said to me over there, Regatta Bar, Chief Regatta Bar, he was like, man, when you play 4, you don't go. Yeah, you're right. We don't do that. He said, so that's the same concept of 7, 9, 5, and playing with Sting. You know, we played 7 days, and he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was like, oh yeah, of course the master, amazing Mr. Vinny is the master of that. But it was like being a child trying to fill in his dad's shoes, walking around the house. But I just want to play this one song for y'all. It's called What I Wouldn't Give. Excuse my Baltimore accent. It's called What I Wouldn't Give, and I hope you enjoy it. So here you go. So with this, I'm going to talk about, show you how to develop music with a conversation between solos. I have a trumpet player by the name of Delton Allen that came and was very nice to play a trumpet solo. Piano player is Terry Brewer, and the bass player is an amazing bass player from Baltimore, Corey Baker. so about that, but in my ears it sounded great. So that was a song. It goes from 11, 7. I'm out of breath, man. I'm out of shape. I think it's an out of shape virus up here. So, yeah, so any questions about?
What just happened?
Yes.
How do you keep it fluid?
The way I keep it fluid is I try to, it's an inner thing, like people want to count, but I find it better knowing a little bit about harmony as a drummer for me. Like that's why I tune my drums higher than normal, because I try to come from a harmonic aspect. You know, being able to play with like Kenny Barron and Hank Jones, to actually be able to hear where they about to go before they go, helps me as a musician, because I won't step on their toes, or I won't get in their way, or I'll help them get there faster or something.
So when you're worried about where the 1 is, and you're going from a 7 to 11, are you thinking about where you're ending, where you're coming into at the end of a long fill? I mean, damn, them were some long fills.
Yeah, it's because I knew that. Well, it's not that, you know, I don't sit behind the drums and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I hear the harmonic changes coming up.
But what are you using for a pulse?
My inner feel, my inner feeling.
Are you keying off of one thing, like your ostinato or your?
No, I'm actually literally hearing like with the bass, the changes of the song. Like I actually can hear like the B flat major 7, like that kind of stuff. But I mean, I had to teach myself that. Like I sat down and understand the form of a blues, understand the form of rhythm changes, understand the form of a rock and roll song, understand the form of Roxanne. That's one of the. That song, it's like the way he comes in, you would think that's 1, 2, 3, and it's not.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but me and being able to hear the guitar go, quack, 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 and I was like, oh, so when he hit that, quack, 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 I knew where I was at. So, yeah, I really play the drums from a harmonic aspect, not just, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, or lyrics. Like, you know, I hear the lyrics of the song, so.
So you don't do the math?
No, don't do math. I was horrible in math. No, I was actually good in math, but no, you know, I don't do the, of course when I was probably coming up, I went to Baltimore School for the Arts, and I did classical for 4 years, so I played marimbas and, you know, timpanis and stuff like that. But then when I went to Manhattan School of Music, I studied 1 year with Justin DiCiocio, this drummer. But then John Rowley also taught there too. But I didn't want, he's an amazing teacher, amazing drummer, but I didn't want anyone to change the way I was trying to approach the drum set, because you have a lot of drummers now who don't have their own voice. So you put a record on and you'd be like, who is that? It sounds like Aaron Spears, but it could be this, it could be that, it could be that. But back in the day, you put a record on, you'd be like, yeah, that's Buddy Rich. Oh, yeah, that's Tony Williams. Oh, yeah, you know, you would know all the guys by their sound. And that's what I wanted to develop. I wanted to have my own sound, my own approach. I mean, it's hard to have that, especially, you know, because there's nothing new under the sun. But, you know, you strive for it. That's what, so, yeah, I don't look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of try to approach it as a harmonic. And I think that's why I work, you know, thank the Lord, with so many different people. Because Chris Boldy, he plays classical, jazz, funk, and it's like with Jeffrey Keezer on the piano, who played with Art Blakey when he was 17, and it's like, so you gotta, if you focus on the numbers too much, you'll miss so much stuff that's happening musically. That's a good way, yeah. So.
Makes sense.
Any others?
Who are your heroes?
Oh man, I don't have just one. You know, here today, Mr. Johnny Anir, who's not here, that are passed away, is Kenny Clark. I don't know if you guys know him, the brush master, like, you know. Ed Dickpen, you know, with the Oscar Peterson trio. Dennis Chambers, who lives a block away from my house, you know, so he's always at my house. So, I mean, I have a lot, you know, Omar Hakeem, John Barnum, JoJo, yeah, me and JoJo was hanging. He came, man, God bless him. So he came to the Blue Note to hear me when I was with Chris. You know, it's amazing for me being, 35 to have like my idols come in to check me out. You know what I'm saying? It's like to share the stage with guys like this is like a dream come true for me. So it's like, I have my list goes on and on and on and on. I don't have just one favorite drummer. Yes, sir.
How old were you when you started playing drums?
I was 2 years old when I started playing the drums. In church, my dad's a pastor, my mom plays organ, and I started there. I was 2 playing, and my mom would be like, "You're rushing, slow down, speed up, get off the cymbal, play the hi-hat." And I'm like, "I'm 2." But I started when I was 2. Any more questions before I do what I do best? Because I don't talk good. Any other?
When did you finally feel comfortable that you were comfortable being your own player instead of trying to copy somebody else?
That's a good man. So that didn't happen actually until recently. All through college, like I had a lot of my friends who will remain nameless that used to point the finger or laugh and things like that because I was playing with Hank Jones. Hank Jones told me that music is 90% music. No, 90% show, 10% music. And I'm like, that sounds backwards. And he's like, well, you got to remember that 90% of your audience didn't go to music school. So they don't know what 3 against 4 is, what 5 over 7 is, what the B flat major going to the C sharp 7, flat 5 and all that kind of stuff. They come to see something. And I was like, wow. He said, so they only going to appreciate the 10% of music. But what you can show them musically, they'll start enjoying. And then he started showing me videos of Lionel Hampton, twirling the drumsticks, Mel Lewis, Kenny Clark, all these greats were I guess the word for it now, people call it showboating. But that's only for a drummer who doesn't have the vocabulary to express what he wants. But showmanship is when you have a drummer who can actually play the vocabulary, but for people who might get bored with a drum solo, you can invite them in with, everyone knows me for, putting a stick on their head and playing. That was the easiest thing that ever, I didn't even practice that. That happened as a joke. But it's the biggest thing on YouTube, on Facebook right now. So, but I mean, for me, it took a long time for me to be like, not listen to what my musical friends were saying and appreciate what the audience was saying. Because my musical friends were asking me to be put on the list where the audience was paying to get in to see. And now I'm with the biggest jazz musician, the biggest artist in the world right now. So it's like, I'm glad it was hard, but I'm glad I stuck true to myself. Now all those friends are like, man, can you play? Nah, I can't. I'm going out, with Chris. Can you play? Nah, I'm staying right now. Can you do, and that's, to God be the glory. It's not me. But I really, it was a hard road because a lot of friends kind of was snickering and laughing behind my back. But now it's like, oh, snap. This cat was on to something this whole time. So I always stay true to yourself. Hope that was cool. I'm going to play. So I'm just going to play I'm going to play an open solo and develop. I like to have conversations and stories when I play. So hope you enjoy it. so much, man. It's fun. I don't want anyone who's watching, you might see my pointer pointing up when I play sometimes, but I have a 15-year-old son, and he was playing basketball with his friends, and he made a lucky shot, and my big mouth said, "Oh, that was a lucky shot." And he said, "Oh, bring it on the court, old man." I went on the court and played with him, and I was winning, and then I tried to showboat, and he went this way, and I put my hand there. As you can see, he jammed my index finger, so it's so much bigger than my other. So I don't normally play with my finger pointing up, but it's like killing me. So, but lesson to all the fathers: when your son get of age, let him be of age. So, any questions?
That's true.
Yes, sir.
Does the drummer at your father's church know you're going to be in the house tomorrow?
He's actually my student, so it's cool. Yes. Any other questions?
How do you approach recording?
Recording, that's good. I just did Spiral Gyra. I just did their Rhinebeck sessions, their last record. I mean, the same way. Thank God I can play to a click track, but
Does that limit you though?
playing to a click track? No, not for me. It doesn't, because I am the click track. I look at it as me telling the click track, "Come on." So I play like that. When you're blessed, because it's not me, with an internal clock that's really strong. Because I have my drummer every Sunday, even though I'm teaching him, I have a click track just to strengthen his time. And then after a while, I played also tour with Pete Rock, this DJ. And so he played, when you're playing with DJs and stuff like that, you have to kind of just know where it's at. Like, you kind of like gotta be, don't look at that as being the timekeeper. You still are the timekeeper if your time is strong enough. That's only the timekeeper when your time isn't that strong, So, any other questions?
Play some more.
Play some more.
Nothing left to play.
All right, so I'm gonna play, close this out with 7 Days. I don't have the track. My computer and stuff was left in Baltimore due to United Airlines not letting me check an extra bag. When I came, I didn't have any clothes or anything. They said, "You can bring one bag." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna bring my cymbals."